And we are live! Woo! Welcome along to the live stream, everybody. For those that don't know who I am, let me introduce yourself. No, that's a good start. We're live! We'll cut that and work. I'm Gavin Hoey. I'm one of the presenters right here on Adorama TV, and this is a live stream, which means anything can and will go wrong in the next hour, which is, I think, part of the entertainment, unless you're watching the recording, in which case, hello, recorded people. We love you too. If you're watching the recording, say hello in the comments. If you're watching us live, say hello in the chat. Right, okay, we're going to be doing some stuff about black and white photography, but before we get there, let me introduce the other side of the camera. You can see them and you can hear them. On the Super Switcher, it's Freya. On the chat, it's Sam.
Hello. Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing? There's lots of people here. Lots of people here already.
Lots already.
Waiting for you to trip over your words or trip over your equipment.
Oh, anything. I will trip over anything
or both.
and everything.
Would you like to know where everyone's from, or just a select few?
Let's give it the edited highlights.
I will. There's quite a lot of people. So we've got Maya from Los Angeles, says hello. Lots of love to the Hoey family. Thank you very much. We've got Stockholm. We've got Maryland in the house, where the cookies are from. Lithuania. We've got Wisconsin. We've got Belgium, Canada. I'm intrigued with this one. This is Simon on his elliptical in the gym.
Wow.
And he said, longer the stream lasts, the longer I'm on the machine.
Oh, it's going to be a 2-hour stream today, isn't it? Yeah.
Poor Simon, I hope you've got plenty of water. We've got the Netherlands. We've got Indianapolis. We've got Germany. They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. These brilliant photographers, they're everywhere, aren't they?
It's great. It's great to see where everyone's from.
Alrighty, well, thank you very much from wherever you're joining me in the world. I really appreciate you joining us. So let's crack on, because we've got plenty to do. So today we're going to be doing black and white photography. Now you might think, well, that's pretty straightforward, just take away the color, but there is a bit more to it to that. So I'm going to go through some of the nuances and just give you some general advice and hopefully take some half-decent black and white photos. Now, I can't do that on my own. Who'd do that? That would be crazy. So I have an amazing model. Give it up for Sophie. Woo! Sophie's in the house. It's great having Sophie back. It's been, first time this year, isn't it? So welcome back to the live stream. So I thought we'd start with some kind of basics and then build from there. So I guess the most basic is, what sort of light do I need for black and white? Or do I even need a specific type of light? Actually, probably no is the answer, but I'm going to show you some examples anyway. So first things first, this is just an excuse for me to make sure all of this kit works, because there's a lot to juggle here. Sophie, do you want to go back against the background?
It's got a lot of love for Soph. There we go. Yeah, the super Sophie. Hello, Sophie. Welcome back, Soph. Hey, Sophie. That's very nice.
Don't pick your part up. That's it. That's it.
I'll keep them coming.
Okay, so what am I going to do first of all? So you've been on one of these Adorama lives before, and unless you haven't, if this is your first ever Adorama live, welcome along. But I'm going to guess a few of us have been to a few of these, so I've got to do something first of all. We know what it is. Put it in the comments. Let me know. For those that don't know what we're talking about, help them along. You explain it to them. I'm just going to turn my flash off, and I'm going to dial in some default settings. So first thing I'm going to dial in is a shutter speed, and let's just reset everything. Oh wow, I've got everything really wrong. Nothing to see here, thank goodness. So I'm going to go with my shutter speed, which for my particular camera, and today we are using an Olympus OM1, now known as OM System, OM1. That really doesn't make any difference to what we're doing. I'm going for a flash sync speed of 250th of a second. I'm going to choose f5.6 for reasonable depth of field. ISO 200. What am I going to do? What is my photo? What's it going to look like?
There's been loads and loads of answers.
So, okay, you don't have to put them on the screen, that's fine. Okay, do any of them say put it on TTL and hope for the best? Okay, they're all wrong. It's obviously NF-NS.
Yeah.
That's what it is, an NF-NS. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we get NF-NS. Pretty much, although S is wearing something shiny, so it does slightly come through. So no flash, no Sophie. Okay, that's what we've got basically going on there, more or less. All that means is the room lights are now not part of my photography anymore. I've underexposed the room to the point where these bright lights for video, and they are really bright, no longer play a part for the photography side of things, which means any light you see from now on is mine, like it or love it or not. Yeah, that's what it is. So I've got a hard light source, standard 7-inch reflector. We are using the Flashpoint Evolve 200 Pro. This is the Mark II version, which is useful because it has a pretty decent modelling lamp, but we'll get to that in a minute.
I've actually got a question.
Already? Is it why? That's usually, why are you doing this?
It's actually for Sophie.
What?
Question to Sophie. Does your makeup differ from colour to black and white photos?
It does indeed. However...
Not today.
Not today.
Yeah, there we are. It can.
Yeah,
it might.
Can,
It might. Yeah. Later on, we'll talk about colours. And if you know you're doing black and white, your makeup might actually be way more colourful than you can really imagine. But we'll talk about that as we go through.
You have another question.
Go.
You have a question.
Okay.
Stephen asked, when you do a test flash, what power is the flash output?
Okay, no flash, no picture. The clue is the no flash. The flash is switched off completely. When I do a test flash, when I do this, if you don't know where to start, put your flash into the middle of a power range. Now, I'm using Flashpoint, Godox, you might know it as well. So I'm going to start in the middle, which is 1/32 power. Now, I could get a flash meter and just press my little flash meter. So I'm going to pop this near your chin. Here we go. And get an f4.5. If I do nothing at 1/32 power, I would get f4.5. I could dial in f4.5, or I can increase my flash until it hits f5.6, which is what I will do because I've chosen f5.6 for a reason. There we go. Which ended up as actually pretty much 1/16 power. Okay, you'll probably need to take my word for it because Sophie is face detecting onto, there we go. Yeah, you get the idea, it's close enough. Okay, so when in doubt, start in 1/32 power and then you can go up and down, you're not limiting yourself. Okay, right, okay, quick photo, here we go, test photo in colour, because if you're going to start in black and white, it's good to know that you can do colour, and this is a really important point. I'm going to switch my camera now to black and white mode, but I'm photographing in RAW and JPEG. You're going to see the JPEGs, which will have the black and white from the camera, when I go back and edit my photos, I will have the color from the raw. So even though I'm going to show you black and white effects, I can do much, much better in post-processing. Okay, that's an important point.
Got another question?
Yeah, far away. I'm going to take a little test photo.
Is it worth it?
Asked,
why 5.6?
why 5.6? For my particular camera, that's pretty much the middle. It's the sweet spot of its lens for quality. And it kind of works quite well for my camera. If I was using a full frame camera, I would replace that with f8, simply because I'd get a bit more depth of field, or I get a bit more depth of field with these smaller focal length lenses on the Olympus cameras. The longer focal length you need for a full frame to get the equivalent crop would mean I'd need a bit more depth of field. So yeah, and experience, I guess, is a good thing. Right, okay, so let's have a little look. Black and white. Colour, black and white colour. So Sophie isn't wearing a great deal of colour, but nonetheless you can see the colour shift and it disappears when we go black and white. So if colour is in any way an issue, black and white is a great solution because it just does away with it. We can do a little bit better though. So a good light for black and white is hard light. You can get away with a lot more contrast and a lot more shadows in black and white than you probably would in colour. So let's pop a little grid on there. Increase the power just to take that into compensation. Make use of the modeling lamp. Hold on. Oh, okay, something like that. So I make sure that is pointing roughly at Sophie, like that. Okay, quick little test photo. Okay, cool. There we go. So you can see this is really dramatic light. That's without the grid. That's with the grid. Probably just add a touch more.
Can you take another question?
Yeah, we're going to take a few photos.
Okay.
You ask the questions.
So Stephen asked, does the pattern in the 7-inch reflector make a difference to the light, as I've seen some with different patterns?
I'm sure the manufacturers would all say, yes, it makes a huge difference. I think the idea with the sort of dappled pattern is it slightly more evens up the light. In the real world, probably not going to make a huge difference, but what is making a difference is the grid. And you can see the grid as little hot spots and light spots and dark spots. That is effectively just the projection of the grid. I'm sure if this was Pro Photo or Broncolor, that wouldn't be there, but you know what? I actually quite like this. Okay, that's enough, that's good. Got a lot to get through. Okay.
Someone said, hey, on Tuesday I'll be doing a session. I came to get inspired.
Hey, brilliant. Come get some inspiration and good luck with your session on Tuesday. Okay, so that's hard light. So often with colour, that's a bit of a struggle to live with. But in black and white, you can get away with a lot more contrast. But what about soft light? Because traditionally, soft light is kind of, well, soft. And that usually means less shadows. Okay, quick tip. Always put the light on the softbox. Don't try and put the softbox on the light.
So Domingo asked, do you sometimes find a green tint when you shoot black and white? And if you do, how do you fix that?
Nope. I would say check your color calibration on your monitor because black and white, unless you've got a green tint, and we'll talk about tints later on, but it should be, if it's black and white, it should be grey, black or white and no greens or anything else. So color calibration of your monitor might be in order. Or just check you haven't actually turned the green setting on in your camera, because you can have a green or a sepia or a blue tone to images. Okay, let's pop that there. Something like that.
So D-Man asked, why is the subject so close to the background?
Because I like shadows on the background, and because we're in a small home studio. If I put Sophie here, then I'm going to stand over here, and let's face it, this isn't helping. How's this helping? No, it's because I like shadows on the background. It's me. That's what I like. Okay, Sophie, I'm going to pop this near your chin. Here we go. Quick little test. Exposure. Wow. F9. I just need to roll this back to F5.6. Oh, hard to say. Roll it back to F5.6. 1/32 power, or thereabouts, as it turns out. Quick little test photo. Okay, so this is soft light. I think this is really nice. I really like this. So we still have the shadow behind Sophie, but it's a lot softer. Now, we're really lucky. Sophie has amazing skin, astonishing eyelashes, which apparently are her own. I mean, you own them, so apparently, yeah, and they're yours. Okay, so we're going to take a few photos like this, and I think this is great light. Really simple. The background, if you're interested in what the background is, and it's not in the description, because I normally try and get everything in the video description, it is the back of a Manfrotto vintage background. It's the bit you're not supposed to use. It's perfect for this sort of work. There's no texture to it, but it does look a bit like concrete. And this is the olive background, the back of the olive background.
So we've had a couple of comments, beautiful light.
Yeah.
Sophie looks like an LP cover.
An LP, Sophie, that is like a round thing that you put in a record player. Whew, blow your mind. Imagine, you remember compact discs? Remember that, but bigger.
Got a couple of questions as well.
Yeah, far away.
So Marco asked, do you have any film simulation in your camera to preview the black and white?
So my camera is currently set to my default black and white, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. I don't have film simulations. Olympus cameras don't have that. I was using a Fuji over the weekend at a workshop, and that has some great film simulations. They were really good. But unfortunately, Olympus OM isn't known for its film, so it doesn't really have that legacy to play with, I think.
So Frida's asked, do you have the room lights on?
Do I have the room lights on? Frida, no, the room lights are on. These are, I mean, they're not just on, they are like painfully bright. We have 300, 400, 500, 600 watts of LED beaming down, well, beaming up and then beaming down onto us. So this is brighter than your normal room by quite some margin. But if you rewind the video at some point, you'll see me do the no flash, no picture, where I remove these by massively underexposing the scene. But we'll talk more about that in a bit when we do some shallow depth of field stuff. Stick around. Right, what have I done? Oh, I put a grid on there. So if you want to mix hard and soft light, Sophie, I'm going to pop this near your chin. A grid might just be the ticket because it gives you more direction to your light. Back to f5.6, matches my camera. So this should give me that vignetted effect that I had before. You can see it in the corners up here, but still give me the soft shadows behind Sophie. Now I could have done this in post, but I'm trying to minimize my post-production. But you can see there's no vignetting on these pictures, and the second I add in the grid, we get a lot more vignette coming down the side. So these kind of look really nice. I've got two different screens with two different exposures, but my screen says that's about the right exposure. I'm just going to check my histogram. Yeah, I could probably give it a bit more. Okay, hang on, Soph, just checking.
It's another question.
Yeah, far away.
So G asked, wait, how do you manage control reflections of the flash light in that white room? Isn't the flash coming from all sides because of the white walls? Yeah,
I mean, there's a reason I've got the flash facing this direction. So can you go with camera 5? Okay, so this is what it's pointing at. Okay. Yeah, you and the grey fabric back there. So there is a reason that this is, I'm working this way round, because if I put the light on this side, well, I can do it. Let's just do it. It's a lot easier to do it sometimes. It's a good question. Okay. All right, there we are, something like that. Now the only tricky bit is Sophie now has to model in the other direction. So I know, it's a challenge, isn't it? Okay, we'll have a little look. So now we get a bit more fill coming in on the side. Yeah, it's not that too bad actually, but potentially, oh, mind you, it would help if I pointed that at the wall. Potentially, your white walls will bounce in. There will be some fill. There's no getting away from it. However, things like the inverse square law will definitely kick in. And you know what we're not doing today? Inverse square law. Because it's Thursday, it's for us 7:20 in the evening. We don't do inverse square law after 6:30. That's the rule. Hey.
Thank you.
I know, whatever. It's like, This is actually live. It's amazing to think, but yes, this is genuinely live.
You've got another question?
Yeah, far away.
So Simon, I think this is Simon that's working out at the moment. Ever consider adding some black V-flats to stop light bounce?
Yes and no. So I will hang, you can't quite see, just there. Can you see that running along there? Just that little pole running along there. That is a little pole that allows me to hang stuff from the ceiling. And we've got a lot of black fabric. So I will often, occasionally hang black fabric down if I need to control, oh, there we go. Yeah, thanks, Frey. I can hang black fabric up there if I need to control the bounce.
We did have some, didn't we? You made some.
V-flats, yeah, they're over there. They weigh.
Oh yeah, there they are. I was going to say, I'm sure we brought them with us when we moved.
They are so heavy. They are. I mean, I made these things 10, 12 years ago, and they are indestructible. They're going to outlast me, definitely. So if you're going to do V-flats, probably have a look at the V-flat World ones, which fold in half, don't weigh a ton, and are just a better choice all round, really.
Can I read out a couple of comments that will make you go, ooh?
Well, go on in, yep.
So Peter said, I just want to say a big thank you to, not just an ordinary thank you, a big thank you.
Wow.
To you, Gavin and family. Was in the studio yesterday and used a lighting technique I learned from you for the first time. It worked out really great.
Hey,
and
thank you very much.
Stephen said I had my first photo shoot today. As the TOG, not as model, must have watched your video 20 times. Just want to say thanks, encouraged me to go.
Brilliant.
To have a go.
Don't forget to click the thumbs
well
up
done.
20 times, not 21, just 20. That's fine, not 19. Thank you. I'm glad it helps. That's all we really ask for here at Adorama. Obviously, buy from the store occasionally if you're passing by, but yeah, that's kind of what we're here
and
to do.
then Gaming does say, can you do a 2 or 3 light setup for this black and white session? Oh, I think you'll have to hang on.
We can definitely do 2. 2's all I got today, so that's what we'll do. Sophie, do you want to just step out? Because I'm going to pop a background up, and I do not want it to.
Oh, just an update. From Simon, I'm up to 436 calories burned so far. Keep the stream going, guys. You've got it, Simon. Come on.
Simon, let's see who burns off more, me or you. Usually I burn off that just running around the studio, but I suspect you're going to win that one. Right, okay, so I have a black background, which just for you on the live stream, I actually hoovered with a vacuum cleaner. So it's almost clean, which is unusual. But it is a bit pringly. It does kind of bend, but that's fine. So we're going to set up a static setup and have a look at some of the black and white options that are in camera to see how they affect the photo. Now that does require a couple of things. First thing it requires is a chair. There you go, Sophie, if you'd like to have a seat on the chair for me. Before we get there, I'm going to set up a simple black and white portrait lighting, which is going to be light coming in from the side. Because we're going black and white, I'm going to be a little bit more dramatic and have it quite a bit from the side. So no beauty lighting, something a little bit more edgy. And let's take a meter reading. Sophie, I'm going to pop this near your chin. F9, wow, okay. So the light has got brighter. Why has the light got brighter? Why does it suddenly need F9 where before, without changing the settings, it was F5.6? Simple answer. Sophie is closer to the light. The closer you get to the light, the brighter it is for the thing that's closer. So I could dial in F9, or I could reduce the power of the light, which is what I'm going to do, because that saves the planet. One little flash at a time. Oh, but it doesn't save my flash meter. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Fingers and thumbs. Wait. Look, seriously, it doesn't happen often, but nailed it. I mean, that happens every time.
So Marco asked another question.
Go for it.
How much does it help that Sophie's total black outfit for the shooting? Does it help?
No. It really doesn't help. Black is the hardest colour to photograph because there's very little detail in it. And we're going to talk about this in a little bit. We're going to give some colour to Sophie to show how that really helps your black and white photography. But Sophie isn't really wearing black. This is a faux leather, so it is reflective. So when you look at it, it's greys. There's very little black. I mean, the background is black, but there's light tones all over this. So think of it not as black, but as something reflective. And something reflective is great for black and white because it adds sparkle, contrast, that kind of thing. Maybe not sparkle, but...
I did think that was pushing it. Yeah.
Look, it's live. What can I say? Okay, so f5.6, 250th of a second, ISO 200. Okay, so that is technically the correct exposure. It's nice light on Sophie. There's detail where there should be. There's a small hot spot, but I can live with that for the purposes of demonstration. But you can see what I mean? So that's what I'm talking about. That's not black, okay? Where there's no light, it's black. But where the light strikes the jacket, we get detail coming through. However, there's not much on the camera left. So let's add another light. I've got another light. What I don't have is a reflector. Now, here's oh, there it is on the floor. Lost it. Okay, so I'm going to add a second light. Okay, this is also, for those that like to know, there is gear links in the video description, but this is also a Flashpoint Evolve 200 Pro Mark 1. So this is the Mark 1 version, which is all right, but the Mark 2 definitely has advantages. So if you're in the market for it, go for a Mark 2. Throw that down there. Hang on, just got to set it up. Oh, and say, that camera, hello that camera. Okay, let's pop that over there. So this is going to be a separation light. Its job is to lift Sophie out of the shadows by putting a very small amount of light just on Sophie's shoulders, on her back, and if I elevate it up, a little bit on her hair. I've kept the grid on. Not sure that was a good idea, but we'll see when we get there.
So a comment from Philippe. OMG, I can't believe after years I finally caught a live that is still live. I learned so much about photography and lighting from this man over the past years. You're here!
Hey,
you're on the screen now, Philippe.
Thank you for joining me live. Oh, okay, so let's guess.
I'm going to answer this one. So Gavin Dad said, is there a link in the description for that chair she's sitting on? No. Because unfortunately Adorama don't sell those. No. I don't know where you are in the country, but it was bought in the UK, and I think it's only a UK store. It was Dunelm, if anyone wants one. They probably don't make them any longer.
Right, I'm going to turn off the key light because I'm doing multiple lights. The minute you're doing more than one light, it's a good idea to switch off one light and just look at the other light. And we know this one works. We've tested it. We know it's a perfectly good light. So I'm only going to test the back light. Okay, so Sophie, you're going to look at me. Okay, and that backlight at, what I ended up on there? I ended up? That wasn't English, was it? What did I end up on there? 1/8 power, which looks a little bright. Actually, you know what, Sophie? Just look at the camera. Look straight down that lens over there. Okay, let's see whether we can... Just look at that camera and look even more to the right. You might have to spin the chair. There you go. Okay, that's great. There we go. How's that? That's not supposed to be the photo, but that's fun, isn't it? So that's supposed to be the edge light. Now, if Sophie looks towards the edge light, then light will reach her. Yeah, your eyes are amazing. So that wasn't really the idea. The idea with that one is it, look back towards me again, sorry. That is just supposed to put an edge of light, not that bright, I would say, a stop less. So it's on 1/8 power. A stop less light will be 1/16 power. Okay.
So Mark asked, is Sophie a biker? Because that gear is cool.
Thanks. No, I'm not. But it would be pretty cool.
I think we should find a tripod. Where's my tripod?
Is the flash meter in the description? Because Chris asked.
I don't think I put the flash meter in. I think I forgot about the flash meter. But, Chris, just for you, I can tell you what it is. I'm not sure anybody from Adorama is watching us live, which is always worrying, isn't it? What could possibly go wrong? But it is that one, okay? So that is the Sekonic, that's those guys, L858D And if you get it in North America, it'll have a U next to it. U for North America. Okay, and it has the Godox transmitter built in, so when I press the button on the side, it fires the lights for me. So I don't have to keep pressing the transmitter button instead.
So
Right, where was
a
I?
question from Intel. Do strobe lights produce sharper images than continuous lights? Which is better?
Okay, which is better is not the same question. Which is better depends, but I can answer the second one a lot easier. By and large, yes, you won't get a sharper picture than you do with flash. Simply because if you were here earlier, no flash, no picture. So none of the room lights are coming into the picture. It's only the flash, and the duration of the flash, how long it lasts, is in the thousandths of a second. So effectively, the shutter speed on these can be anything up to 20,000th of a second. So it's such a short period of time that there's no time for model movement or camera shake. So you'll never take a sharper picture, potentially, than you will with flash. Okay, right, test photo. I'm going to set my camera up so you can see the most basic of black and white. So I literally just put it into black and white mode. Nothing else changed. This is what they call normal. Okay, that is normal black and white. What that means is it's taken all of the color and just desaturated it. Okay, so removed all colors equally. Now, I don't know if anybody is old enough to remember black and white film, or maybe still uses it because it is still a thing. But if you actually get black and white film, back in the day, you'd apply filters to your camera to affect what colors are bright and what colors are dark on your black and white film. And many cameras, including this one from Olympus OM System, have that built in. So I can tell the camera, okay, I don't want it to be just everything desaturated. I want to put it on red. And I'm going to put effectively a red filter in front of this. Okay, here we go. I'm going to take a photo. And what that does is very interesting on the skin tones. Can you see how that is slightly brighter? So red will very slightly increase the illumination of red things, such as skin tones. Okay, so it's not huge, but it definitely makes a difference. So I tend to keep mine on portraits on the red filter. I'll probably change it when I go into post, but looking on the back of the camera, that's where I'm at. And remember, I'm shooting JPEG, which you're seeing, and RAW, which I'm editing later. Okay, that's red. What about this one? This is green. Same photo again. Here we go. So, okay, so this is the same lighting. Nothing's changed, but now it's on green. Can you see how there's a subtle but clear shift in the skin tone brightness? That's green. That's red. That's green. That's red. Green, red, okay? Now we're not changing the lights, nothing's changing on the lights, we're just changing the way that the colours are recorded, and we're effectively putting a coloured filter which is blocking or allowing light of certain colours to pass through. Now these are all digital, they're not real filters, but you might think, what is the point? It's basically the same. Well, there's a couple of points. The first one is, not everybody takes portraits. So if you're out doing landscape photography, you might want to use the green or the red filters to darken or brighten your foliage. But also, it's possible that your subject isn't wearing just black. What if she had, oh, I don't know, a red hat? If only we had a red hat from somewhere, just randomly thrown in.
Whoa.
We should probably rehearse that, shouldn't we, really?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, okay. Well, at least it didn't hit anything expensive. Right, okay, so...
I've got a question for you.
Yeah, ask away.
Okay. What difference does it make to photograph with a colour sensor or a monochrome sensor like Leica, for example?
Well, I guess, I mean, I've never used one, so I can't really comment with any authenticity. I'm not sure that's the right word, but you know what I mean. I've not tried it. Having said that, if it's designed for that job, it's likely to be better at that singular job, unless you want colour. So if you do just black and white, then maybe that is exactly what you're after. But remember, you're locked in, so make sure it is exactly what you want. because you're going to have to kind of live with it. But it's the same, you can get old cameras, or you used to be able to get old cameras converted to infrared by removing part of the internal mechanism. It sounds terrifying, which is great as long as forevermore you want to record the infrared spectrum. So these sorts of cameras are good, but you're locked into that system.
Mark asked, is red the best for skin tones, or is it personal choice?
It's very much personal choice, Mark. Very much personal choice. My personal choice is I tend to leave it on red for this stage where I'm just taking pictures, tethering to a laptop so everyone can see them, because it kind of closely resembles what I like. But when I get back into my editing software, I've got a vast array of choices that aren't available to me right now. So it gets me close, but it's not what I'm going to eventually stick with.
I think Mark prefers purple.
There's no purple filter option on this one. Okay, do you want to hold the red hat or wear the red hat, or, you know, we'll include it. So first things first, if I just take a picture in color, let's just do it so we've got a picture in color just for reference, just to prove that I still own a color camera. I haven't done anything clever here. So it's a color picture that I could edit in post. But if I go to my monochrome setting, and I've got the green filter turned on, this is what I'm seeing through the green filter. Okay, this red hat, there's plenty of detail in it, but have a look at the difference between that and the red filter. So this is the same photo, more or less, but this time with the red filter. Okay, so have a look. Whoops, wrong way, that way. There we go. That is what the filters are doing. If you have a strong green or a strong red, you can see what it's doing. The red is making the picture much brighter. Any reds really glow, like skin tones. And the green is blocking some of the reds and darkening them down. So that's kind of where the filters really come in when you have color. So whoever asked earlier about, does having black make it difficult? Yes. Brightly colored clothes are a great choice for black and white.
Roland asked, does a red filter on the camera do the same job as a red gel on the flash?
Not quite, no. It's going to be slightly different. It might even be reversed. I don't know, actually. I've not tried that. But one thing I can actually show you is the white balance makes a difference. So let's just change it. At the moment, I'm on 5200. I'm going to dial this all the way down to 2000K. So this should be a very blue image. Okay, and then I'm going to dial it all the way up to the other end of its range, which is, I wonder how high it goes. I don't actually know. Let's find out together. 14,000K. So this is the same image. The exposure hasn't changed. Camera settings are the same, flash settings are the same, but look at the difference. That looks massively underexposed because it's a very blue colored image through a red filter, where that looks really nice. Really nice. Okay, so that's kind of weird. We'll just do one more in the middle, 5200, just to remind ourselves what that looked like. I might actually end up changing my white balance at this rate. Oops, wrong button. There we go. Okay, it's about the same. Okay, so 5200 looks like, yeah, it's slightly darker, but not far off. So your white balance does affect your results. If you're working in black and white, the white balance that you dial in does affect, I can't think of another way of saying it actually, it doesn't matter how slow I say it, it's still the same. Okay, so that's kind of fun.
Ian asked, do you have or use any presets?
So yes, Sophie, do you want to just step out the way and I'll just pop this down? Yes, I do. I have four presets. I've got 2 black and white presets, which are mostly contrast, a little bit more contrast for an edgy look and a bit softer contrast for softer black and whites. And I have 2 color profiles, which have varying amounts of color shift, like a sort of a bluey green shift to my images, which I will occasionally use. But all of my in-camera color profiles are only there to get me close to what I think I might want, because I edit everything again in post if it needs it. Not that I do a massive amount of post-processing, but if I need to, that's where I'll go. All right, let's take a few photos. Sophie, come and stand up against the wall. Let's get rid of the tripod. We've got the red hat. We've got the red filter dialed in. What have I got dialed in?
Oh,
I've forgotten.
they like
yeah.
that you took the background down. Well, smooth fold.
Of course.
Smooth take down there.
Totally didn't think about that. Yes, of course.
Folding like a boss.
Yeah.
You are the folding man.
I've never seen Seth do that, have you? Eh? Don't see Daniel fold in the background that easily. They probably do. I don't know.
So Brian asked, have you got any tips on shooting black and white for male models? I think we've had a couple of videos, haven't we? where
We've got some videos on Adorama on that very subject. I genuinely don't really change what I do for whether it's male or female. I'm kind of happy. Just keep going. Yeah. Okay, so that's with the red filter. Let's try it with the green filter and make that red hat go dark. Fantastic. That's pretty cool. We could mix these up a little bit and just lift those shadows, because although it is black and white and I do love a bit of shadows, we could just throw a bit of fill light in there. Let's do that. So my fill light is going to be my other light, still an Evolve 200. I'm going to stick it on half power and aim it at the wall behind me so that it hit the wall, it'll bounce around, hopefully fill in the shadows a bit. Let's see what happens. Okay, that's way too much. Maybe not half power, maybe an eighth power. There we go. So these are the same light, but now I'm just filling in the shadows. I want that hat to be red. Got to be bright. Red filter. Awesome, last one. Boom, okay.
Those tassels look so cool, don't they?
Love a bit of tassel work.
Vladimir put magic shots.
Okay, so that's kind of fun. That works okay. But it does lead me on to, should we do how not to do it? I mean, I don't think anyone on Adorama really needs to know, because if you've watched Adorama TV, you know how not to do it. But let's pretend occasionally things don't go to plan. Let me show you what I would consider a bit of a fail when it comes to black and white. So if we get rid of this light, and we'll just use the bounce light. I'll put it somewhere where it's not in the shot. I normally stick it about there somewhere, right on the edge of the frame. That's always my favourite.
Yeah, it's always helpful for me, thank you.
Yeah, you like a challenge. Right, so just this light, great. Sophie, I'm just going to take a meter reading. Here we go, let's see what we're on. Okay, I'm going to pop that light on a quarter power. I'm going to pop this near your chin. F2.8, yeah, well, that's what I'm going to run with then. F2.8. Okay, right, here we go. Oh, I'm going to put my, I don't know what I'm going to use. I'm just going to put it on normal. Normal will work, and I'll fix it later in post. Okay, here we go. Quick little normal black and white.
Just an update.
Yes.
Simon's on 800 calories. Keep going, Simon.
You've got 20 minutes to go.
Stay hydrated.
Okay, so this I would class as a fail. So this is the same lighting as we had before, but it just doesn't make any point for being black and white. In fact, you'd be better off doing it in colour. So let's pop it into colour. Same settings. Here we go. You know, at least you got some colour there, because why? There's no reason, there's no depth to that. It's just meh. Okay, that compared to that, that's the same setup, just with lighting that works for black and white. Contrasty, angular, a bit of shadow, straight on, flat, just desaturated. So if you're going to do black and white, do it with purpose. There we go, rant over.
Mark says, is anyone fixated on that cable on the floor when Gavin steps over it?
This one. No.
Is it freaking you out, Mark?
Have I ever tripped over the cable and pulled my camera off onto the floor? Ever? Oh yeah, try it twice. On a live stream. Have I done it on a live stream? Yes, I have, yes. Did anyone notice? Yes. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I won't trip over the cable. I've just got a new one as well, so I've got a new Tether Tools cable. But I don't think any of its new features are you won't trip over it. But that's why it's orange. So when it does wrap around my leg, I am vaguely aware of it. Anyway, right, okay, so what are we going to do now? Oh, we're going to do black and white with a bit of texture. How long have we got? We've got a quarter of an hour. Right, okay, let's go with the blue background. Let's have fun with blue background. Here we go. Blue background, okay. Right, watch out, here it comes. Whoa. Right, this is a great choice for black and white. Don't you think? Yeah, maybe not this exact background because this one has been around a bit and has become even more Pringle-shaped than the other one. Oh, look at that. That's perfect. Scrub that, and I cleaned that one as well. That's great. So, a blue background for black and white portraits doesn't make any sense, except it does. You'll see why in a second. How are we going to do this, Sophie? Let's just stand you in front of it for now. Let's go like that and find a flash.
Philippe asked a question. Do you have any videos on checkerboard lighting? That is some of my favourite for black and white.
So yeah, we've done some quite a few videos where we've done checkerboard lighting, which is where you go from light to dark and your subject from dark to light. So we did it with creative couple photography. Go check that out from a few months back. And we've certainly done it on live. We did one with Sophie, I think, last year, maybe the year before. But yeah, we've got a few on Adorama on checkerboard lighting. It may not have been called that, but there you go. There's a little challenge. Have a dig around, see if you can find them.
Michael asked, there is yellow and orange inbuilt as well. Do they work for portraits?
No, they are terrible and must be avoided at all costs. They do. They just tend to be a bit less obvious. So, but again, it depends on what the subject's wearing. If they're wearing a yellow dress, great. Or actually, it doesn't have to be a dress. It could be a jacket.
And Matt said he's excited for the eventual fold of the blue background.
Yeah, yeah, that one might stay up. we'll see, because it's a bit, yeah. Okay, let's pop that there. So why would I want a blue background? Right, it's a good question. Let's move that out of the way. Turn that off. First things first, Sophie, I'm going to pop this near your chin, take a test meter reading. Yep, that's why we test, because the flash is turned off. That's joking aside, how many times have you done that and you think, something isn't right? It's better to find out before I take a photo. I mean, it's not going to help in the long run, but okay, f5.6, there we go. 1/8 power, more or less. Okay, should we lose the hat? No, hang on. I don't think I did any damage.
We're still live.
I tried to get it close. That was a little closer than I intended. Okay, let's see where we're at. So, quick little test photo. Okay, we're in colour. I forgot I was in colour. And it's a good point. My viewfinder, even though I'm in black and white modes, my viewfinder on this particular camera still shows me the colour image until I half press the shutter and then it switches to black and white. So it's kind of a thing. Other cameras, when you dial in a colour setting, it will give you that view. On this particular one, it doesn't.
What are the current settings you're using at the moment?
Okay, should be down the bottom. They are also wrong. Thank you for calling that out. So, my current settings, one thing hasn't changed. Flash sync speed, 250th of a second. ISO 200, that hasn't changed. My aperture has been mostly f5.6. Let me put it back to f5.6 and do that again. Okay. Okay, so why do I want a blue background? Why do I want a blue background? Let me know. There must be a reason. Is it because that was the one on top of the pile of backgrounds that when I started tonight, I pulled off first? Maybe. Maybe it is.
You can cut Sophie out and put her on the moon.
I said that.
Sophie out and put her on the moon.
I came back in and that
Why
was
the
that one. I was like,
moon?
oh, we're going to add a sort of a different scene behind her. I said on fire. So
Well, we've done Sophie on fire.
yeah, we have. It's true.
We did. Halloween, yeah, it was great. We put you behind a cityscape on fire, yeah. AI, it was great fun. Okay, so let me take the same photo again.
So we've had some answers.
Okay.
We've also had from Mark, could be odd job with that hat throw.
yeah. At least I didn't throw a
So
shoe.
darken the background, blue filter. Blue is the opposite of skin tones on the colour wheel. Use a blue
There you
filter.
go, you guys are getting
nice
it.
ocean vibes. I like that.
No.
Paired with different filters, you can make it darker or brighter, or to match the colour of Sophie's eyes.
There you
Very
go.
good. All good answers.
Okay, so it's a subtle effect the way I've got it set up at the moment, but can you see that is, there is more background or less background depending on which filter I dial in. So that is the green filter. There's no blue filter on this camera. So in post, I could definitely change it. And that's the key. In post, I could do more with a different color. So if we really wanted to really go to town on the colors, we could get Sophie to paint her lips green, because it's the opposite of the skin tones. And then we could really make the lips glow or really make them dark by affecting just the greens in the image, because green wouldn't affect the rest of Sophie's skin. Okay, so a background that's blue is different to Sophie's skin tone. So I can adjust in post-production the color of that background to make that background lighter or darker. If Sophie was wearing red against a blue background with green lips, I'd probably take it in colour, because that sounds great fun, doesn't it? Yeah, wow, fantastic. So we can do that. We can throw a light back there, which is what we're going to do. Here we go, let's throw a light back here. Okay, do you want to step away from the background?
So Mark asked, do blue filters bring out freckles?
I don't know, might do. I don't have a blue filter. But there certainly are plenty of filters that can. So if you're into your dermatology photography, and weirdly that is a thing, then there are filters that you can apply which might more be towards the infrared end of the spectrum, where you can actually see skin damage and such like. So that is a thing, but it's not something. Let's step away from the background for me. In fact, keep coming. Let's move you away.
And then Eric asked, what if you have 3 to 4 people for a shoot like this?
I would need a bigger studio and softer lights. So the more people you have, the softer and less directional you make the light, because they're going to cast shadows on each other and get lost in the shadows. So the bigger the group, the bigger and more boring the light becomes, which doesn't make for a great video, which is why no one watched it. We did one, so. Okay. Okay, so if I should have meted out, but I'm just
Ian
winging
said,
it.
don't forget the like button, guys. That's a very good point, Ian.
Yes, hit the like button, not
Yeah,
the likes
send me
button.
lots of hearts. I like to see the hearts go by.
Okay, let's throw some light back there. Oops, it's jumped way up more than I intended. So I'm just putting a little bit of light in the background. So I'm lighting Sophie with one light. I've got the background lit with another light. And if I change my settings, so that's green, let's go for red and see if it changes the background. Okay, so it does. So that's the green filter. That's the red filter. You can see just by changing the filter in the camera, I'm effectively altering the background brightness. I've got control over the background brightness, not because I'm changing the brightness, but because I'm changing the color that's being recorded by the camera, the sensitivity to the color. This is the yellow filter, which I always think works really nice with this blue. Beautiful. Last one like this. Great stuff.
Really nice comment from Matt. Honestly, it's crazy that this kind of information delivered in such a fun way is free for us. Super grateful to all that.
Free?
make this
No.
possible
You're paying for
us.
it. You just don't know it. You've got all your
Check your bank
details.
account,
Yeah. That's funny, isn't it? Right, okay. You may not say that because we've got one more to go, and this is the one I have been putting off. I've been putting this off for a bit now. So let's put this off no more. Yeah, you want to step out the way, and I will get. I'm not folding it. I need the background. I'll fold it later when everyone else has gone home. So last night, I was setting everything up last night, and it was like, I wonder what I'm going to do. I need something that really lends itself to black and white. So black and white lends itself to texture quite a bit. So I was thinking something texture. So I thought, I know, I will make something, craft it. Don't judge me. It didn't go to plan. But I'm going to use it anyway because I spent an hour doing this. Okay. This is it. This is the good side. Yes, it is a piece of cardboard. And I thought I would just rip up lots of other bits of cardboard. Don't judge until you've seen the results, yeah? And then you'll be absolutely right. It is as good as it looks. Right. But, you know, I've taken the time to make something. The least you can do is appreciate it.
Karen says, no smoke? No, there isn't any smoke. It comes out on a special occasion, Karen.
No, smoke is a good one. So smoke works quite well. And then if you add a coloured gel behind the smoke, you can gel your smoke and do what we just did with the blue. So you can make your smoke more intense or less intense by adding a colour to it. Right. Right, Sophie, here we go. Just so you know what we're going to do. It seemed like a good idea at the time, I'll be honest. Do you want to just stick your head through the hole, basically? I don't know. Yeah, I'm regretting. I wasn't sure about it earlier, and now, I'll be honest, this is a terrible idea. Let's photograph it. This is a dreadful idea. Don't do this.
Got another question.
Yeah, probably
Howard
good.
asked, how about a red background to produce an ultra-white background?
Yeah, there you go. As long as your subject isn't wearing anything red. I mean, you'd be better off with something that isn't skin tone, so you can separate them out that way round. But yeah. Let's turn that off. Okay, I forgot what I was doing. Did I meet at that? Probably not. F6.3, so we want to dial that down a little bit.
Oh, I like this from Scott. Said, no such thing as dreadful ideas, just stepping stones to what works.
Yeah, you're one step away from making it better. Yeah, I think quite a large step in this case, though, don't you think? What are you laughing at? Oh, yeah, that. I remember now, yeah. I remember. Oh, dear me. Let's see if I put a red filter on, see if it makes it any better, because that will help. Here we go. Well, my idea was to show that black and white really shows texture. What if I add a colour effect? Because you can also add colour effects. Someone said earlier about green. I can actually dial in the green. So if this is how your pictures are looking, this is what you've done. You've got the green tint on. Maybe sepia? Oh, goodness. Now we're getting desperate when we're trying all the filters.
Actually, it's quite cool. There you go.
Is it? That works. Look at that. That's not bad. Freya's giving me a... You can't see her, but she's like, is it though? Is it?
Freddie,
No one would see that.
Freddie asked, do you increase the number on the filter or do you just add the red filter?
It's honestly, Freddie, I don't know if I can show you on here. No, because I'm going to run out of cable. But I'm literally just dialing in red, green or blue. I'm touching nothing else. No changes to contrast or exposure or anything.
Birds and more. I like the cardboard thing.
Thank you.
Matt, I think it looks cool. Would be amazing if she dressed as a zombie.
Come on,
sure
those two things
Come on, join in.
Are those connected or are those two separate things? Okay, right, we're going to make this cool. Well, look, we've got 3 minutes to make this cool. Sophie, come around the other side. Let's make this cool. Because we can do cool. I spent a lot of time and very little money on that. 3 glue sticks, though. I mean, 3 glue sticks, they're expensive. And it's still falling off. But anyway, that's fine. So I think if we light it separately, take a little step up to the grey line. That's perfect. There we go. Yeah, that puts a bit of space between me and Sophie. I'm going to change lenses to the 45mm f1.2 and see if we can just blur it out and see if that works.
Oh,
I need a light
Matt
stand.
said, on a side note, I saw Lindsay Adler at Imaging USA using a light strainer live on stage during a demonstration. Hope you got a patent on that thing.
I mean, I'll have words. She's coming over to the UK in a couple of weeks for the photography show, so I'll be there. Be lovely to meet up with Lindsay. I've never actually met her in person, and then I can pass her the bill. But having said that, I probably owe her more in reverse, to be honest, from stealing all her ideas over the years. But the great thing about stealing our ideas, whether it's mine, Seth's or Lindsay's, is if you have a go, you won't create what we create. Yours will be yours. So do feel free to take our ideas, but not my light strainer. Not my light strainer. Okay? No, that's mine. Don't see me using the Lindsay Adler projector, do you? I don't have one, but if I did... Okay, that's there. Let's put a grid in it. This is exactly the grid I wanted, the 50-degree grid. Isn't that lucky? Literally the only one I've got, so that'll do. Once again, more than one light requires a bit of just testing. So I'm going to test just the backlight. I know from previous experience, if I want to shoot wide open at f1.4 in this case, very nearly wide open, I need to increase my shutter speed to 2,000th of a second. High speed sync flash. Not going into the whys and the wheres and the whats because we don't have the time, but trust me, it'll work. Okay. Let's just take a little test photo. Okay, let's put it into, oh, it's on sepia. It's like, whoa, that's in color. No, it's in sepia. That's not too bad. So that's just putting a little bit of light on that background. It is black and white, even if it is sepia toned, we still call it monochrome. Even technically it's not. I can put a little bit more on. That light is just aiming a bit too low. Okay. This is where having the Pro Mark II, the Evolve 200 Pro Mark II, would be useful because I could actually get the modeling lamp and see where the light's aiming rather than guessing. But okay, there we go. So we can see we've got texture coming in and the black and white lends itself to texture really nicely. I don't think it needs to be quite that bright, but that's okay. And then I can use the key light to light Sophie. And I don't know, 1/8 power. Let's try that. A bit more than 1/8 power. There we go. So that didn't fire, did it? No fire. Okay, that's, yeah. Now it's caught up. You know when you take pictures and you know something doesn't feel quite right. You can feel it. And I could definitely feel that wasn't quite right. Okay, there we go. So that works quite nicely. That's the same background that looked awful a minute ago, but now it doesn't look too bad. That looks all right. Maybe a little less hot there, but for the time we've got, which is -1 minute, we're 1 minute over. That is okay. Let's do some verticals. Okay, so hold on, nearly there. Nearly there. If you're still with me, don't worry, we're nearly done. The paint is nearly finished. The photos are nearly over. But sadly, that does mean that Sophie's nearly done as well. Sophie, just look towards the light for me. I'm just directing Sophie to look at the light, and you can see how that puts light in Sophie's amazing eyes. And the only thing that's less amazing is the eye autofocus when you really want it. Come on, camera. I'll need to step out of shot, but worth it. Okay, this kind of brings us to the end. So if you've got any last questions?
Yeah, they really like that. So, see, I knew it, as Mark said. Great background, good.
And do one more.
F1.4 correct?
F1.4, yeah, have a little look down there.
And just an update, Simon's done 941 calories. Well done,
Way to go,
Simon,
Simon.
you smashed it.
Simon, we are all in your debt and in your awe. Turn your whole body toward, that's it. So we go full side on. And I'm going to go for chin down for me. Boom. Okay, cool. Let's finish on one that's actually in focus. Okay, so incredible detail. Is flash the sharpest? Yes, very much the sharpest of everything you can ever use. Exhibit A. Right, okay, there we go. That brings us to the end of the session. I don't know whether that was useful. If that was useful, let me know in the comments. If you found these helpful and you want to see more from Adorama, then you need to be right here on Adorama TV because we have live stuff happening all the time and on our other channel as well, the Adorama Events channel, the things that happen live in the store. You can be part of virtually, so go check those out. Seth, once he's feeling better, and get better soon, Seth, we're feeling it for you. It has some amazing stuff happening in there, so go check that out. Like to say thank you very much. Give it up for the amazing Sophie. You'll find her links in the video description down below, along with all the gear links. Behind the scenes, give it up for the amazing Freya on the Super Switcher, Sam on the comments.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for coming along. We've got another one in about about
4
4 weeks' time.
Straight after the photography show. So,
Oh,
yeah.
it is. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope you can join us. Thanks for all your comments. Thanks for answering things we didn't get to. And hopefully we'll see you next time.
Amazing. And that's it. We're done. I'm Gavin Hoey. Thanks for watching.